I'm Jeff Smith. In this video we're going to take a look at some of the features of TackTracker and how to drive it. So I have a race loaded here. I went to the Cloud Races tab and I just selected a race to view. So the first thing I can do is start the race playing by clicking on the play button here. Now what we see here is that the selected boat, which is 5038, is travelling along this timeline. The light grey area indicates the area before the start, and then we have the time up the first leg to Mark 1, then we go to Mark 2, back to Mark 1, and then to the finish. So that gives us a visual indication of our progress through the race. I can select other boats here and I can see their timeline as well. Now we can drag the picture around by holding the mouse down and dragging, and if I have a mouse wheel I can zoom in by turning it around like that. Now many people like to see the boats travel up the screen on the upwind leg, so I can rotate the plot around like this. And now I can zoom in, I can look at the start of the race. Now as well as watching the race play, which I can change the speed by adjusting the throttle here, I can also drag the boats along the timeline with my mouse. Just take it forward a bit more. Now we can see in TackTracker we typically use the long tail, and that's because it gives us a fantastic visual indication of the tracks of each boat. We can see whether the boats are on lifts or nocks in this case, and we can see how they're tracking in terms of their heading relative to other boats as well. We're looking for nice open angles on the tacks. If we have a closed angle here, it tends to indicate we're tacking onto a knock. Let's take it a bit further. We can see here, over the right side of the course, that M2 is on a steady lift. And we'll come down, and as we come near the mark, these circles around the mark are 100 meters apart. To tell the distance I can just click on the screen and click again, and I get a ruler which tells me a distance. So I can use that ruler to measure distance between boats as well. There's about 560 meters of separation between M2 and 5038 at this point in time. If I get close to the mark and I zoom in, I can see the 3 boat length zone here in the circle. As well as playing and moving the timeline, I have some buttons here I can drive the boats around the course. So let's just zoom out to show you that. So for example, this first button just clicks one track point at a time. I can go tack by tack for the selected boat, and I can go leg by leg. Or I can just drag the timeline. Over here in the select box we can see all the competitors listed and their colours and names. When I'm playing, if I select sort place, I get a leaderboard with the top place competitor listed always at the top, and this will dynamically change as the race plays. If I don't want to see all the competitors at once, I can uncheck those competitors that I want to take off the plot. I can focus on just a few boats. The particular boat that I have selected, his current stats are listed in this table under the screen. So we can see at any time his speed, the time on the tack and on the leg, the distance travelled on the tack and the leg, his bearing, his VMG to the course, and his the wind in the course, and his speed. And the speed I can have in knots or meters or kilometers per hour. TackTracker also provides detailed per leg information. In this case, for the selected boats, I can see information for this leg. Very interesting to watch the distance travelled for the leg. This often can vary quite considerably, and it's typically the boats who travel the least distance who win the leg. We can also look at the time taken for the leg and the average speeds. In the tacks tab, we can see the tacks taken by the selected boat on that leg. It's interesting to compare the number of tacks the boats take and their relative speeds and bearings. And finally, we have a set of charts here, which we have speed charts and other various charts which you can play around with. These big dips are typically at the point at which boats are tacking. If I move past there, you can see 5038 is tacking. And often we can use the width of this dip as an indication of the length of the tack. And it's also interesting to look at the ability of the boat to get back up to speed after the tack. And if the graph is a bit crowded, we can use this stretch mode to stretch it out like this. So that concludes my brief introduction. I hope you enjoy using TackTracker.